Hey.
Go to the video, bro.
Go to the video.
No, hey, video.
Raindrops falling, raindrops falling, raindrops falling all around, trickling down my weary eyes, my weary eyes, my weary eyes. I'm ready to
Was that the video messing up there at the end, or?
Fly.
I don't think it ends there, but it's a good place as any.
Yeah, it seems like
Raindrops falling. I love that video.
that was awesome. So, explain this video. Where did this come from? This is. Hold on a second.
You know, after we did the Wyzard of Odd Tarot videos, Brad and I were really kind of trying to make a run at doing the DJ thing, and so we realized that we really didn't have anything besides the tarot music, and we wrote a CD of just kind of like club jam dance music, and this is one of those pieces. And,
Yeah, it had like an EDM feel to it, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was written specifically for that, and it was fun to hear. We heard it play in the clubs a couple times, and it was cool.
That's
that
awesome.
whole like playing the clubs thing. It's one thing to write the music. That whole life kind of wasn't really my zone.
Oh yeah. You had already lived a wonderful lifestyle as an art director, a creative director. Yeah,
exactly.
That's awesome. So my apologies. We were just talking before the show how I had like such a crazy disconnected week, and the producer part of me was like gone, and I just missed the cue of going right into the video.
Yeah, dude, you look like you're in a whole bunch of pieces. I wish I could be up there and like gather you all together again.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm gathered together. I'm here. This is one of my happy places to be. So I can take a deep breath. I can chill with your energy and everybody out there. What's up, Julie? What's up, Tammy?
Yeah, Jilly. What up, baby?
Yeah.
How's that girl, man? You kicking ass, taking names as always. And Tammy, I saw your daughter today, and yeah, we need to do an intervention, man. That girl needs a break. We'll talk later.
So you know what? Before we move on, I do want to talk about that piece of music. So that was something new that you did, or that was an older piece of music?
No, that's been around for a while.
That's been around for a while. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know you were talking about some new music. I was like, oh,
I do have some new music, but I wound up getting. I went to my friend Jess's wedding over the weekend.
Oh,
and
okay.
So that wound up being a sojourn down to Miami and a couple of days down there, and then the drive back. And so I just pretty much got back today and spent most of the day trying to put out fires and, oh my God, catch up on all the crap I've neglected for the last 3 or 4 days. It was the coolest venue, though, man. It was like this place called Villa Toscana, and it was down kind of in the almost kind of like the farming area down in Homestead, almost to the Florida Keys, and kind of an area out there was just nothing out there but farmlands, and it's going and going and going, and all of a sudden we take this turn, and all of a sudden you pull into this big ass mansion, and it's like, wow, they had done an amazing job on just acres of gardens and all these little nooks and crannies, and they clued into the aquifer down there and had all these lagoons, and man, it was really, really super beautiful place.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, man.
Yeah. And like we did the Ace of Wands last week. The Ace of Wands is the beginning of energy and that explosion of things going, and like what could be more Ace of Wands than a freaking wedding?
You were saying that. Yeah, I don't think I had any Ace of Wands moments this week, but I'm glad you did.
Well, I bet you did. You're just not looking for them.
You know what? That's exactly what we were talking about right before we popped on. So you know what? I'm working on.
I'm trying to harass you, man. Maybe we'll open that little vision portal.
Third eye, yeah.
If I could get you here and get my hands on your skull for about 20 minutes, I would open that thing up pretty good, although you might yell a little bit.
That's awesome. It would probably feel good, I think.
Yeah, after the yelling. Which I would enjoy immensely because I'm a
Hey, you know what? We both got to get something out of it, right?
Well, right? Ask cash or grass. Nobody rides for free. It was true when I heard it the first time 1.5 million years ago. It's still true today. Yeah.
All right. So where are we at? I was doing my best to kind of catch up, and I realized it's not that it's so difficult, but I guess I'd been concentrating more on like producing the show. I noticed that I was taking more notes at the beginning, and then I kind of wasn't in the middle. But I'm all set today with my pen and my
Well,
pen.
Zen, truthfully, it's not just the notes that you take in the show. It's the practice you do in between. That's why I kind of have stopped busting your ass, because you've got so many projects going on. It's like, wow, not much time to actually devote to that. But that's where you're going to get the goodness. But that's also the way, I'm trying to structure this so that we keep reviewing stuff, like the Fool's Journey, the 22 cards. That we'll go back through that again and review that whole process and stick those all together, and
Awesome.
hopefully those will continue to become a story for you as well, your own version of that, of Jilly, listening to that. And that's the way the major arcana stuff will be too. And just like and I'm going to start like bringing some of the Kabbalistic mindset to this today, and
Cool.
the way that the tarot is actually structured is kind of like brutally cool.
Awesome. Very awesome.
And so each of the aces, by the way, you remember what the aces were about by any chance, just from last week?
Well, I mean, like you were saying, the beginning of things in lots of different ways, I guess. You can, how the cards break down to, mind and body and
So with some specificity, what would you say the Ace of Cups was about?
Can I look at my notes?
If you have to. Well, no.
No.
Later, and I'll ask you again next week.
Well, I think, last week for me, it was...
Okay, what are the cups about? What's the element associated with the cups?
Well, that's what I was going to say. That was where I was taking my notes, and I'm going to say water goes with cups.
Exactly. And what's water about?
Water is, if I remember, it's...
Do it in one word.
Passive.
No. It is part of the passive elements.
Yeah, I mean, as far as categorizing.
That's not what it is about.
Water's about the flow, going with the flow.
No. It's about emotions.
Emotions. Okay.
So the wands, which we're going to be reviewing the 2 today in just a little bit. What would you say what element would that be?
Wands is fire.
Exactly. And what's fire in one word?
Energy.
Perfect. Woohoo! Yeah! Man, I need one of those little kazoo things in the cannon that spits out fucking yeah.
I got a bell.
Yeah, excellent.
that's from Jilly.
All right. No, we're on a roll. So let's stick with the aces for a second. Let's go to the Ace of Swords. What element would you associate with that?
The swords is air.
Exactly. In a word?
Power? No.
Thoughts, mental,
okay,
mind shit. That's the difference between the cups and emotions, and then you go over to the air, and that's where the plans are happening. And in the kind of the flow, you start with and we'll be doing it in this element today. We'll be starting with the wands, which is fire, and that's the energy that you take to get started. In this particular case, the Ace of Wands is the energy that's the potential. It's this big goop of goo that is like waiting to be molded into something. And then the Two of Wands is where that goo separates and starts the process of manifesting. And that whole column, that whole fire column, those 10 cards are all related to the transformation and change in a process of that initial potential energy. Okay, so then once that potential energy happens, and there it all is, and that's why we kind of like the cards sort of tell you what kind of potential that energy has, and how to apply that. But then the water column, since it's about emotions, that's where your desires live, and that's where you like look at that energy and go, "This is what I want." And you start thinking about that. You're pouring your wants and desires and your loves and your passion about whatever it is, and that goes into shaping that energy into a thing now. And at the end of the cups, now you're like, okay, here's the energy, here's what I want to do with it. Now you get to the air column, which we're at right now with the Ace of Swords, and that's where the plans, the mental, the process. Okay, I've got the desire. Well, what the fuck do I do to make that actually real in the world? And that's where the planning and the systems and the processes and the permits and the whatever it takes as far as systems and things that you have to do to make something real in the real world. And then that gets us to the Ace of Pentacles and
Earth.
Correct. And in a word, what's Earth about? This is easy.
In a word,
manifestation.
Manifestation.
Coming to reality. Those other
okay.
rows,
I was going to say reality. I was going to say reality was the word.
3 rows of energy are the flow, the energy flow that we talk about in that reading all the time.
Okay.
And those represent energy that is being potential energy that's being shaped and molded and planned and to be put through a system to be able to materialize in the real world.
Okay, that made a lot of sense. Actually, that made sense, and that added to the notes that I have from last week. So that's awesome.
Good.
Perfect.
All right. So, we sort of I've got some announcements and some stuff, but we'll save those for later since we're kind of on a roll right at the moment. Let's dive into the Two of Wands. But let me grab a cup of coffee real quick. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay, doke. I'm gonna get the images up here. What do we got here? That one is the Two of Cups. All right, let's get the Two of Discs in here, the Two of Wands, and the Two of Swords. And now I can bring up the Wands. Oh, that was fast. You're back already. Share screen.
Ring the bell. Yeah, that's right.
That was for live stream of consciousness. Whenever we get a subscriber, we could use that for the Fool's Journey too. Whenever you get a subscriber, you ring the bell. All right, so here we go. We got the Two of Wands. Ba-boom.
Okay, so the twos in general, like the aces represent kind of the masculine singular one principle and the moving forward principle. The twos represent the separation of that energy and the receptive quality of that. And that's where the beginning of manifestation starts. Actually, the way this is really looked at is that the aces are kind of their own category, and that the real place where the wands actually start their manifestation part are at the twos. All of the suits are that way. So, so the twos are kind of interesting. I'm going to introduce kind of a Kabbalistic mindset about this. And you and I have talked about that whole, like, every person is a individual universe in their own minds and how I got to that. In not just the Kabbalah, but lots of mystical traditions, it's thought that there was at one time this vast sea of, sometimes it's referred to as nothingness. I I don't like that reference. I prefer to think of it as silent potential. It's like it's there. It's just not activated yet. And at some point out of that pool of potential energy, part of it stepped outside of itself to consider itself. And that's where the birth of duality happened. And that's where the birth of the rest of the constructs of the way physical universe is put together. So the twos are all about partnership. The twos are about duality of every kind, male, female, hot, cold, every kind of opposite and duality is contained within the twos. And the twos pretty much across the board represent a partnership of some kind. Like the Two of Wands really represents a moment of choice. It's like where you're walking down the road with somebody and you get to the Y in the road and you're both deciding which way in the road to go, you know, and they both go in really opposite directions. So it's not like that can be shared anymore, you know, unless you're on the same road.
Gotcha.
But that's about really a pure choice. Whereas like the Lovers, and to some extent the art card as well, are about those two opposites, male and female, positive, negative energy, looking at each other and evaluating the relationship and their connection with each other.
Gotcha. Okay.
This is not so much an evaluation of that, but just here's a hard choice. What are you going to do? You know, and sometimes that works out together. Sometimes that works out differently, but it's really about a choice. And that's not just a choice in a relationship. It could be a choice that you have with something too. You know, it could be on the negative side. It could be an addiction. It could be a hobby that you have. It could be something that you really love to do a lot. You know, it could be talking on the phone, on social media, whatever.
Now, this is Two of Wands specifically, not twos in general. Now you're talking about.
Well, the twos in general do represent relationships of a kind.
Okay.
Right now, I'm talking about the Two of Wands and the fact that it really represents a splitting of the energy. It's the Y at the road.
Okay.
You know, it's like so far with the Ace, it's been a singular path. And now you come to this place where the path is splitting and going in two places, which represent the two columns of the Kabbalah.
Gotcha. Interesting. The live stream of consciousness started with Jesse Blaze, and it's actually before the live stream he was doing a class called the 13 Universal Laws according to Jesse Blaze, and it was like there was some different principles, hermetic principles and Kabbalic principles in there. You know, it started with the law of one was the first thing, and then
most of those I read were from the Emerald Tablet.
Right. So it's interesting because it's following similar representation in the tarot here so far. That what I'm seeing.
Yeah, well, so much of the tarot, the people that developed it, especially the Western magic part about it, when it like stopped being gypsies and kind of like came into a Western tradition, you know, they really attached it to the Kabbalah, and it fits perfectly with that actually, the way the whole process happens.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome.
Okay, so let's see.
That was the Two of Wands.
Yeah, Two of Wands, and the choice, you know, the choices that you get presented with, you know, the really hard choices. And you know, there's also another aspect of this. Like my teacher Augie, like this is one of his favorite cards, and for him, this card represents relationships, but this card represents two people outside of a third party, where those two people are affecting that third party for good. Yeah, but it's and when you think about that, you know, that's not just two people like trying to make something happen to somebody. That's your parents. You know, that's two people outside of yourself that are affecting your, directing their energy towards your betterment. You know, that could be teachers, that could be partners, friends, you know, anyone that is addressing that. You know, in my particular case, I think about that as all, you know, some of the people from that little land over there. And, you know, those are people, that I know for a fact because I can feel it and see it have addressed stuff to me without actually talking to me about it. But the intention was always for productivity and goodness and moving ahead. This is really not like a wob kind of card where, that it always, anytime I'm hearing somebody else making someone else do something, I go, huh. But this is really not about this. This is really altruistic rather than manipulative.
Gotcha.
And there are no hidden agendas in the two people that are doing that. Like there's not a benefit to them doing it. Usually, most of the time, it's them doing it for the better.
Right. There's a benevolent vibe rather than a malevolent vibe. Yeah. Exactly. Gotcha. I'm gonna put that word so that now then I'll have words to give you when you give me quizzes. I'm gonna say two of wands, benevolence.
Yeah, exactly. Benevolent, but also this is relationships and choices.
Yeah, I already got those two words written.
Okay. So let's go over to the Two of Cups.
All right, let me see which one that is. Hang on one second. Ba-boom. There we go.
Nancy, what's up?
Hey, Nancy, what's happening?
Glad you're back.
Good to see you. Julie, I didn't see that comment about unmanifested energy, but that was earlier. It looks like 6 minutes ago, so I don't know what we were talking about. All right, so here we are, Two of Cups, another beautiful.
All right, so again, we went from the Two of Wands, which is relationships and choices about that, getting to the why in the road and deciding which path to take, and then we get to the Two of Cups. The Ace, like we just talked about, the Ace of Cups is about that first moment when you realize that you are potential ground, fertile ground for a love relationship. You want to find that relationship, whether that's an actual romantic love relationship or a business partnership where you can just really jam with somebody and connect with somebody on a really deep level. Whatever that is, your soul is telling you, yeah, you're ready. Unless for giggles, just look at it as a relationship kind of love kind of scenario, which is why that card is in a shape of a heart. Those two coming together, because the Ace is about that initial chunk where you're going, ooh, I can kind of feel that. The Two is where you've gone down the street and walked into your favorite bar and you're sitting there having a drink thinking about the day's work, and you look up across the bar and this pair of eyes just hits you, and like it's bing, 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 bing. And then electricity happens back and forth, and you go and like start talking, and it's really magical, and there's just such an electric moment of when you're going, wow, this is really cool, I want to know more. And that like absolute, man, that's intoxicating when you're in that zone and you're feeling that, oh my God, I just can't stand the thought of not being with this person for 2 seconds. And so the Two represents the initial connection with somebody from the initial potential of needing. Yes, there you go.
That's the word I wrote, connection. You didn't even say it, and I wrote that.
Yeah, so the initial availability and readiness of the Ace gets transformed into the very first breach of a connect or blast of a connection.
Nice. What's up, Helen? I see some people saying hello. What's up, Courtney? Good to see you.
Hey, Courtney.
Julie says she loves this card. I'm so happy that you said connection after I wrote it, because it's like I feel like I'm finally just intuitively getting some of this, like.
Well, it had to rub off on you sooner. Despite your best efforts.
That's funny. You got me.
We wouldn't find the way into your brain.
Oh.
Hallelujah! Cause in the got the Lord, man. Hey.
All right, let's keep going. Give me keep
All
going.
right, so two of swords. The two of swords represents where there has been kind of a difference. Like those are two opposite sides that have come together and are now in a momentary harmonious peace. And everything is kind of cool. Probably not going to last, but for the moment, everybody's in kind of a all right, no more hostility. Let's all check it out. Let's see where we're going with this. Okay, so again, that's a relationship deal. So then we go to the Two of Pentacles.
Hold on.
That's the Google page. So the Two of Pentacles, you know, you were talking about connection. I think this is one of those, the best cards for that. And this is Augie's favorite card. He's got a big 6-foot print of this now because the energy circling around inside those spheres in the center is the exact, it's a living system, a living functioning infinite system. And that's what happens when you get the perfect frequencies on opposite sides that are now flowing with each other. And that creates a third thing larger than both of those things together. Wow. So again, that represents the manifested partnership, marriage, whatever it is, musical group, you know, whatever it is where you require an emotional, deep, mental and spiritual connection with someone, and that happens and starts to manifest. This is the card that represents how that will manifest in the real world, which I really, really love. Correct. And abstractly, both of those, like especially as you pull it out now from that distance, it looks like two heads that are, you know, together and the bodies.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I just really.
And as you get closer in, they become faces inside there. You can see some faces inside.
You know, that's one of my favorite things to do with the cards is to like skew the perspective on how you see them. Right. Like you go in really tight and you, there's like all those little beings at the top and things happening in the spheres. It's pretty crazy. And then as you like macro out and you look at it really small and the whole card kind of like takes on a
You know, I was noticing that in that video there were so many cool things I wanted to talk about in the video, in the raindrop video, but I was noticing that, you know, your artwork especially shows fire, water, smoke, you know what I mean, these things and the similar principles that they exhibit when they're, you know, just flowing, and then you're doing the symmetry thing on them. It's just so crazy how it's all connected like that. It's amazing.
Yeah, that mirror thing, man, it has just been so like part of my shtick for so long.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, so next week we'll do a review on the aces and the twos.
Okay, awesome. That was good. I feel like I actually was able to pay attention and produce and participate and learn and actually intuit words and stuff, you know. So success.
I am beyond excited. Well, do you want to do a reading?
We might
go a little long tonight. Bro.
You want the truth? I'm not ready, but I'll do it.
Okay, well, no, if you're not ready tonight, all good. But well,
I've been thinking about it all day, but you know, I just want
to do it. Let's do it. I was trying to let you off the hook, man. Apparently, you don't want to be off the hook, so go, boy.
Well, we've got Helen is asking a question. Do you ever sense intuitively something different from a card than what you usually do?
Depending on my emotional landscape and the frequency of the person that I'm reading for, pretty much they're different every time. And with my cards, they wind up just really being kind of an initial doorway into opening up that channel with the person that I'm reading for, and those become really personally unique to that particular reading. So I'd say in a way they're different every single time.
Interesting, right? It always depends on the situation. Hold on, I gotta push myself out here a little bit. Grab my cards. Gotta put some energy into them.
Have you shuffled them?
I shuffled them earlier. I'll shuffle them some more. I thought I was energizing them first. No, shuffling first.
You know, I give mine a shuffle, get them all like randomized, and then once they're in the zone that they're in, I like jack them up really hard. But you can do it in any order you want. I would suggest trying them all and see what works the best, and that's the way you select it.
Gotcha. All right. I had my camera set up over here, but it's not. I'm gonna have to pick it up. And show it later. I'll pick up the camera.
Oh, wait a minute. The producer doesn't have his camera set up, man. Oh, bro.
I have it here, but I'll have to pick it up by hand and show it. So I'm gonna.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna pull some cards.
Oh, all right.
All right. Some cards are coming out for me already.
So you're going to do the 4-column elemental? Or you're going to do?
I am, and that's really kind of why I feel like I'm not ready, because I've been just kind of pulling one card. I did try the 5-card kind of hexagon layout. I was just kind of researching on my own some different layouts.
Well, I have a reason for you doing the 4 elemental thing. So
Okay.
If you want to do different ones, do them.
No, I'm doing the four elemental ones right now. Now I don't know if we talked about it. This was something earlier I was thinking about when I was thinking about this layout. Oh, can you hear me all right when I'm talking away from the microphone? Yeah. And that is, I know that some people read and there's a significance to whether the card is upright or upside down. Is that part of this?
If that, everyone makes their own choice on that. My particular preference is I don't use reversals.
Gotcha.
I use elemental dignities like we were talking about last week.
Gotcha. All right, let me see if I can pop this on so we can look at the reading. Wow.
we need some build up music, man.
I could put some music on. Hold on.
What's a dubstep? I can sing.
Oh.
I was just kidding.
All right, so
just shuffle the cards. Don't worry about it.
No. I've already pulled them. Let me just see. Is this the right way? Yes, this is the right way. So this is going to be the first column here.
Okay.
So I have the 5 of Cups.
Right. So what column are you in?
This is the Earth column. No?
Why would you read the manifestation column first?
Oh, okay. So this corresponds. Hold on a second. Fire.
Exactly.
All right. So I've got a 5 of Cups in the first position of the fire, which is the past, right? No.
All right.
All right, and we haven't gone over the Five of Cups, but I know the cups is a water. And I
So
know
what's the next card? Tell me what all of the cards are.
I've got the
You
Knight
know,
of
a
Wands.
lot of people like to read court cards, just as sharing my own personal preference with that. Like your next card is a court card, and I like those cards really kind of define a person and a role in a situation. So
Okay.
I like to pull those cards, and then when I get that card, that kind of defines who that is, and I pull another card and put that over the top of that court card, because for me that's the modifier. That's like how that person is going to actually act in this situation, and that's just a personal thing. So that's not like you won't find that with a lot of different readers, but for me that is. I've been doing that for the last 20 years. I really like that a lot.
Okay.
It really defines it.
So I would pull,
let's just go ahead right now with the way you've got it right now.
okay, but you're saying I would then pull another card just to see,
Right, like the card you've got right now, that 10 of Pentacles, you would have put over the top of that court card, and then you would have pulled an additional card to be the third card in that scenario.
I gotcha. And that was we talked about ill dignified, right? Is that ill dignified or no?
The Pentacles are not ill dignified in the fire, but the water card, the Five of Cups, is that what you said it was? The Five of Cups?
Yeah, this one is ill dignified.
Yeah, the fire.
Correct.
That card is ill dignified. So you would what's the last card? The Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, you would take that. You would take that. You would take that Five of Cups, and you would subtract that from the Ten of Pentacles, so that you would really be looking at the court card, and it would count more as a Five of Pentacles than a Ten of Pentacles. So you would read that then as. You wouldn't be looking at the Five of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles anymore. You would have subtracted that water card out of that fire column, and that would have subtracted that Five from that Ten of Pentacles, which would leave the Five of Pentacles, which is an awful destitute card.
So 2 fives of Pentacles I would have had.
Well,
no, 2 fives. I mean, not 2 fives of Pentacles.
Yeah, but not anymore. No, that Five, that original Five that you got, and the 10 are blended together. You're subtracting that Five, so that Five no longer plays into it. It's no longer a Five of Cups or a Ten of Pentacles. Now it's a Five of Pentacles, because that Five of Cups, which is a water
merges
card,
with
in
it.
the fire column, was deducted from the Ten of Pentacles, which is a neutral element in that column.
Gotcha. Okay.
I know that's a little complicated. We'll do that a bunch.
It is. Okay, so what is this? What is it? Does this have
we don't really even need to worry about that right now. Just go through the general meanings on them, okay? So let's not even play like there's elemental dignities. Tell me what you do. Well, you don't really know enough yet, do you?
Yeah, I was going to say we haven't gone over the fives.
Okay,
yet.
so let me see what you got there. You got the Five of Cups. What is that? What is that court card in the center? I can't see it. That's the Knight. That's the Knight. Yeah. In my deck, the Knights are like kings in the Rider-Waite deck. Okay. And yeah. All right. So the energy of that is, with that water card, and that's the Five of Cups, which represents, 3 of those cups are knocked over. So it's the spilled milk. But the good part of that card is that there are 2 cups that still have water in it. And the key to utilizing and working with that card is to not dwell on the pain and suffering of the things that you've lost, and look at the things that are still there and move ahead. And then you've got the Knight of Wands, and he is a beast, man. He is let's go, man. The major warrior is full of energy. He's charismatic. Everybody digs him. Boom, and there you get to the end of that. In the near future, you've got the Ten of Pentacles, which is a card that represents lasting, abiding abundance. It's the best financial card in the whole pack. Okay, so the energy is and the potential there for making a lot of money and getting abundance of all kinds, not just cash, but like jobs, property, whatever is material in the world. That's what the
material. Okay.
Right. Yes. Okay, so let's go over to the water column. You got the 7 of Cups. Yeah, what's the center? What's the next one?
The Prince of Wands.
Prince of Wands, yes.
Yep.
Wow, it's a Wands kind of night, and the sun.
Look at that. The whole middle row is Wands there.
Yeah, and the sun, right? And the sun. So, that represents the 7 of Cups represents like when you've seen there's a lot of options, but none of them seem like they're really solid. That all kind of seems like fantasy, a little bit kind of like delusion and disenchantment with the way things are and like the feeling of it. It's like, I don't really dig that, man. It's like something's not right about that. And in the Rider-Waite thing, it's all these like little things up that look like they're great choices, but all of them are really just empty and they don't really have much. So it's kind of a yucky card in my opinion, and especially being in the water column, that would really like get amplified pretty intensely. So that's kind of where, and that's in the immediate past scenario. So that's where that's kind of been. There's been some kind of, not quite exactly what I'd hoped for it to be, or it's not what it looked like it was going to be, and I'm really kind of like not digging it. It's like it's okay, but the luster is not there that it had on the initial like thing. Okay, so then you get to where you are now, and the Prince of Wands is about, that's the younger version of the knight, man. Except the younger version is impetuous and young and hasn't learned from the many mistakes and battles that the king has already experienced. So he's still like kind of just charging out like, woo, let's go do it. Yeah, man, let's go. So, with anytime you see that, it's like cool. There's like a lot of exuberance about that. There's a youth and an energy about that, which can be really great in the new stuff. But at the same time, you got to really kind of look at that card and temper that impetuous, impulsive, like, let me just jump on it with a little forethought, right? And concentration. Okay. And so then that's followed up by the sun, which is like total victory, and that's in the immediate future thing. And following the energy column, which the immediate future card was the 10 of Pentacles, which is like lasting abundance. You come over here and you've got the sun, which is like complete victory in every direction at 360 degrees. And so it's a setup pretty good for whatever you've been wanting to happen. So let's go over to the air column. Yeah. 6 of Wands. All your cards are upside down, bro.
Yeah.
6 of Wands represents success and actually completing some of the work that you've been doing, and those plans are starting to like come to fruition. And there's a celebratory, successful energy about the 6 of Wands that is just really, really great. Okay, so let's go down, and fire and air work really, really great together. That's the Queen, right?
It is the Queen. Yep. Yeah.
So just like the King is, charismatic and full of viv and life force and just, man, indomitable. That's the same way the Queen is, man. And like she rules the roost. He's out kicking ass in the kingdom. She's out in the kingdom kicking ass, making sure the kingdom is absolutely perfect. And she's just really brilliant, really smart, has like super skills with her intuitive abilities, as well as her projective abilities and abilities to make things happen, and her absolute silver tongue, man. She can convince anyone to do anything just because she looks that way. She looks at you and kind of melts you. You know, it's just one of those kind of people. So very, very, very cool. All right. So you've got all these people, man. You've got the king, the prince, and the queen all in the present moment. So there's a lot of people happening in your situation at the moment, obviously. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the next,
it's like a slot machine almost.
Yeah, exactly. So the next card is the Six of Swords. And as you know, we visited that card many times. That card is about finding new sustenance. That card represents where the place that you've been getting your food and feeding on now is either is about to run out or has run out, and it's time to look for somewhere else and something else to eat.
Yeah, we hit that last week, I think.
Yeah, that seems actually every reading I've done for you, like the last 3 or 4, that card has been in a really prominent place. All right, let's go on to the Earth column. Turn that upside down. Turn that right side up, rather.
Yeah,
all those cards are upside down.
That is the Knight of Cups.
Yeah. All right. And then what are the other cards? The Seven of Wands.
The Wands.
And Death.
Death.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, well, the Knight of Cups winds up representing like creativity. That is the creative beast in the deck. And you know, for people that use significators, cards that represent the person that you're reading for, my teacher, when he was teaching me a particular way of reading, we used to use that card as a significator for me. It's a very emotional, compassionate, and super. The creativity aspect of that card is what that card is most about. Okay, so there's this creative element to what's about to manifest. The Seven of Wands is, the Seven of Wands represents kind of a battle, man. You know, there's a guy, like in the original Rider-Waite deck, there's a guy up on a rise with a wand, and he's getting attacked all around him by 6 other people, right? Because he has the higher ground and the advantage, you know, it's not assured. Success is not assured, but his victory is pretty much guaranteed because he just has such a superior position. And even though he's outnumbered, his ability to defend that place is pretty intense. So that's kind of where you're at the moment. And then Death, you know, Death is about that sudden change, man. You know, whatever way of life you've been living, you know, pretty rapidly, like, goes away and something else replaces that. So that looks like a pretty intense little reading, bro.
That looks like an intense reading, and it felt actually pretty accurate, and it resonated in a lot of ways, and as in reality, you know, death doesn't really scare me in a way. You know, I'm curious, so that's
well,
great.
You know, it's the old Apache thing, man. It's a good day to die. You know, if you approach it like that. And if you're ready and you've done what you need to do to like move on.
Yeah, that's totally it. Hold on, let me see if I can figure out how to freaking leave the. Oh, here we go.